Okay, we're in the middle of a sugya of the dayanim of Geiser Gezeres in Shalayim. We had Chanan saying his two dinim. We had Adman saying his dinim, 7 dinim. We've met how many dinim of Adman? We met 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say number 5 of Adman, or number 6. Okay, so we're up to Kuf Yud Amin Aleph. Kuf Yud Amin Aleph. Right? Someone goes ahead and produces a shtar chayv. Say Reuben says Shimon, you owe me $1,000. The halo haitzi shemachalei asasada. And now Shimon says he sold Reuben a field. Right? He sold Reuben a field. So Adman Aimer Yochel Hushi Aimer. Ilo Yisi Chayv Lecha. If I was mechayiv you money, if I was mechayiv to pay you. Why, right? In other words, Shimon, you owe me money, Reuven, right? You're selling me a field. I don't want to give me the money that you owe me, right? I'm taking money for you for a field. So obviously he wants it to be claimed that it's mezuyif, that the shtar that Reuven wants to say that the shtar is mezuyif. That he really doesn't own the money, or else why would he sell him a field? That's Shimon's taina. Shimon's taina is if I would owe you the money. Then what? You should have taken it. The Chacham Moimim Zehoye Pikeach Shimon's a Pikeach Shemachle es Akarka Mifnei Shahoye Yochla Mashkenai. Because he says that. Listen, Rashi says that like you collect from a talton is very hard. You always find there's mattresses, there's vaults, there's Cayman Islands, there's Switzerland. There's plenty of places where you can hide metalton, but land you can't hide. So, but Shimon going ahead, what Harold?
Investigator,
right? Penny, you heard what he said?
I didn't hear, but I'm laughing.
He said you seem to know them.
What?
I was just giving a bunch of places where you hide money, and Heshi said, you seem to know them.
I know. I'm just saying. That's when we liked Hesh, not when he's checking over the garbage cans in a hospital.
Okay. Anyway, so
landing planes at the airport.
Okay, when he was chief of George Washington Bridge.
So Boat 7.
Yeah, right.
Red light on lane 11. First to get rid of that.
Okay, so he was a smart guy. He's getting since the Malva is giving the money for the karka, he should have taken it for himself. So really what he's doing is he's ensuring that he'll have a place we can collect from. That's why he's selling him the land. That's not like it's between Admon and the Chacham. That's not like it's having the Chacham. Says, my time of the Rabbanon. What's the reason for the Rabbanon? In other words, Pashtus Admon is correct. A guy owes you money, and now he's selling you a field and he's paying you, and you're paying him. He owes you money and you're paying him. I don't want your field. Give me the money. That's what the Gemara means. My time of the Rabbanon. Like Admin is correct. Someone owes you money. You're not selling them something. You want money. So Admin. And for the Gemara, you're right. But Asra the Yov Zuze in a place where you first go ahead and give money, and then you write a star. There is a place where you go ahead and give money first before you write the star. He said, right, don't write the star Mechira, give me the money, right? So therefore the money is right there to be had. I don't want you, I'm giving you money, I don't want your field.
Maybe he's paying a premium, maybe he's paying a higher price than he can get from somebody else.
No, I don't know. It seems like the Metzias is when someone wants your money, you take what you get. You don't right? Let's say hypothetically a guy is involved in real estate. Hypothetically, let's say he might be involved with people who don't have so much money. And sometimes hypothetically, rents might be difficult to go ahead and collect. And all of a sudden, the guy says he has, a few months' rent. You say, no, pay by the month. You don't say that. You say, I must be dreaming. No, you chop it, right? You go. Ki pligi ba'asud ksivi shtar, in a place where they write a shtar, v'hadi yoyv zuze. Admin osavre, iboyle lemesam maida. In other words, you should have told him the following. I'm buying the field, but you should be aware that really the only reason I'm buying the field It's because I just want to, I want to have a mashkin today, but I'm really not interested. And on that, Rabbanan Sarvi, Chavod Chavi Islay, we just had this before, but Chavod Chavi Islay. You can go ahead and tell somebody, you know what's going to happen. It's a nuisance to get back to him, and he's not going to sell you the field. So therefore, that's the machlokes between Admoin and the Chacham. Says the Mishnah. Similar case. Shnayim shoytziu shtar chayv zeh al zeh. So Reuven produces a shtar, and Shimon owes him $1,000. Shimon has a shtar that Reuven owes $1,000. So what would you say? Cancel that, right? Right? Not so fast. Ad Miraima, Ilya Yisi Chayv Lecha. If I was Chayv, there was one Reuven shtar came before Shimon's. So he said, if in fact, what I was Chayv to you, Ketzat Atoloy Mimeni. Then how, what in the world would I let you borrow from me? In other words, look at Rashi. It's like the words of your shtar that I've chayv to you. Why would you borrow money from me? You should be tavei yichayv. It's very similar to the last case, right? You should be tavei yichayv. Each one shtar chayv. So in other words, the one who shtar comes first, right? The second guy can tie it to Mizuyif. Because in fact, why in the world would you go ahead and borrow from me if I owed you money? Why would you borrow from me if I owed you money? You just take the money, right? So they say no, each one is going to be the shtar. So really we're going to focus on the words of the Chacham, that each one can collect. Now, in each one collecting, why are you collecting? Why don't we just go ahead and borrow? I owe you 1,000, you owe me 1,000, let's call it quits. Let's rip up the shtaris, right? So we have a machloikis in Amoraim, and Machlokes Amoraim, one of them appears to be just like the Chachamim of our Mishnah. Again, what's the case? Two shtar chayvos, one owes 1,000, the other one owes another 1,000, and in both cases, right? The admin says that the second guy is tying the first one's Mizuyif, and the Chachamim say no, each one collects. Each one collects. Now says the Gemara, Itmar Shnayim shoytzi shtar chayv zeh al zeh. The might see shtar chayv one. Our Mishnah. Rav Nachman Amar says the Amoyer of Nachman. Zeh goyva v'zeh goyva. Pashtus like the Chachamim in our Mishnah, correct? Rav Sheshes Amar, no, not like either one in the Mishnah. Hafuche matrasa lamali. Why do we have to switch bags? Rashi says, I have a bag on one shoulder, a bag on the other shoulder. So
real estate is not yes, make me money. Actually, tell them how to turn it off.
brutal. He's brutal.
I'm a little bit awake tonight. I'm sorry.
Anyway, the Giants won. Anytime the Giants win, you're in trouble. Anyway, so you go ahead, you take, let's say one shoulder, the other shoulder, you switch it around, right? So what are you doing? So in other words, are you 1,000? Let's call it quits. That's the opinion of Sheshes. So Rav Nachman says goiva, each one collects, and he says switch it around. It's difficult Gemara. Okay. Says the Gemara. This guy, he's oyman on his, he's oyman on his. In other words, call it quits, even up. Now, there's three types of lands, guys: Idius, Beinus, and Ziburius. Okay, Idius is only a Balchayv, not a Balchayv, excuse me, Nezikin collects from Idius, Nezikin, right? The Metav Sadeh, Metav Karmi Shale, right? Mida Raisa, a Balchayv collects from Ziburius, but Shleitinal Delis, what they love, and people are not going to say, listen, you're not going to pay me back. I'm going to end up I'm going to end up in Bed-Stuy, even though probably Bed-Stuy is worth money now, right? I said, where am I going to end up? I'm not going to end up on Park Avenue, right? So they said collect from Beinus. Collect from East Flatbush. You collect from Beinus. That's the din. So they collect from Beinus. Subasisha collects from Ziburius. Subasisha collects from Ziburius, the Mishnah in Gittin. Okay, so this is the din. Okay, Yisoimim collect from. But what are they collecting from? They're Yarshim. They're Yarshim. What are they collecting? They're Yarshim. They're Yarshim. You collect from. No, if you collect from them, you only collect from Ziburius from them. Okay, we'll see. Well, again, anyway. So now, here's the case. Now the Kuli Alma, Sairav Nachman and Sairav Sheshes, Amoida, Idius v'Idius, they both have Idius, Beinus the Beinus, they both have Beinus, Ziburius. Vade have Fuche Matrasa. In other words, call it a wash. What are we going to do, guys? I'm going to collect your Beinus, you're going to collect my Beinus. Call it a wash, right? In other words, where they each have the norm to go ahead and pay off a Balchayv, there's no reason to go ahead and You collect mine, I'll collect yours. Just call it a wash. Everyone, even Rav Nachman would be made in that situation. It's switching bags. Good. Even Rav Nachman would be made in the situation. Call it a switch. Ki pligi the islay lechad beinanis. One has beinanis, ulechad ziburius, and one has ziburius. Now, guys, how do you qualify something beinanis biziburius? Do you qualify it based on the comparison to the rest of the world? Or do you like Park Avenue or Bed-Stuy or Bushwick, whatever? Or no, based upon a person. So a person, if a person only owns a place in Bed-Stuy, that's hideous. That's the best he's got. If a person owns Ziburius, that's the best he's got. In other words, that's the best he's got. So in other words, here's the Shiloh, the Lashon of Chazal. Bishaloi hein shamin. Do we view in the individual itself? Or bishal oilam hein shaman, or do you go after the world? Good. So what's the case over here? One person has baininus and the other one has ziburius. Good. Now comes along the one who has ziburius and he collects the baininus. Good. So he collects the baininus. Now the one who had baininus has nothing. What does he have to do? What does he have to collect? He has to collect what? He has to again. What's he supposed to collect? Baininus. But the baininus he gave the other guy is now what? Idios. Why is it idios? The other guy, because why? Because Bishalay ain't shaman. So therefore, what's he going to get? Ziburius. So therefore, that would make sense why Ratzim Yizeh Goiva, because it's not an equal wash. Good, a guy is losing out over here. Indeed, he is losing out, but it's not an equal wash. Good. But if you hold Bishal Oilam Hein Shaman, and one has Ziburius and one has Baininus, so you only have one Baininus over here, right? So this guy's gonna collect baininus, and you can go back and collect baininus and go back and forth, right? It's a wash. Okay, says the Gemara following. Ki pligi is machlokes. The islay lechad baininus lechad ziburius. Rav Nachman Sava, Rav Nachman who holds rights to mizeh goiva, rights to mizeh goiva, zeh goiva v'zeh goiva ksavar b'shaloi hein shaman. You go ahead and you evaluate based upon the person what he has in his possession. So what's going to happen? Asi bal ziburius, the one who only has ziburius will come. The govile lebaininus. And he'll collect the baininus, and now he has two fields, guys, right? And what is it now? What is it by him? The havigabe idios, and now this baininus becomes what? Idios. The osahu and comes along the one who had the baininus, and what's he going to do? The shako ziburius. So therefore, ratzim yizeh goiva. That would be the way Rav Nachman would learn pshat, but in the Gemara learns pshat in the machlokes of Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes. Now, Rav Sheshes no. Why do you have to go ahead? Why? And go back and forth? Ksavar b'shel kol adam hein shaymin. And soif ki aseyahu baininus the nafshei kashakol. This guy will end up taking his own baininus. The guy who Ziburius collects first, right? So what's he going to collect? Baininus, right? Now the guy who had the baininus, what's he going to collect? Baininus. So therefore Rav Sheshes holds that what? That's the akimta of machlokes between Rav Sheshes and Rav Nachman. One more time, guys, outside. Ziburius and Baininus, right? You have Ziburius and Baininus, and now says Rav Nachman, the guy who owns the Ziburius is going to collect his Baininus. So now he has two fields. One is Ziburius, one is Baininus. But since B'Shaloi and Shaman, this Baininus becomes his idios. It becomes his idios, right? So therefore, that with this one who had Baininus, right? Now he doesn't get back his Baininus because it's idios. What does he get? He gets Ziburius. Right, he gets the Ziburius. Therefore, Ratzim Yizeh because they're not equal. One guy's getting Baininus, the other guy's getting basically messed up. He's getting Ziburius. That's Rav Nachman. Rav Sheshes said no. Rav Sheshes said you don't go look at the guy. You look at what it is. You look at what is in the world. This guy has Baininus because has Ziburius, right? So what's the guy who Ziburius is going to collect? He's going to collect Baininus. What's the guy who has Baininus? What's he going to collect? His own field. He's going to go back. So therefore, says Rav Sheshes, what? Don't switch the bags. Just leave it. Guys, good. Beautiful. Okay, this is a problem. This is all predicated upon that the Baal Ziburius collects first. The whole Ukimta is predicated upon the Baal Ziburius collecting first. All right, says the Gemara. Very geschmack. Says the Gemara. Saif. Okay. Where am I? The who got it? The also shock was with. Okay, we did that. Says the Gemara. Now, umay chasis the Yasi Baal Ziburius bereisha, Lacey Baal Bainis bereisha. Why does the Baal Ziburius collect first? Let the Baal Bainis collect first, the Ligve Ziburius, and now he's going to have two things, Bainis and Ziburius. And now if you hold the Shaloi Hein Shaman, right, and let the Baal Ziburius collect the Ziburius. since B'Shaloi ain't Shaman, guys, right? The Baininus I have Baininus and Ziburius, right? So when I don't have anything else, it's Baininus. But when I have Ziburius, what happens to my Baininus? It gets elevated to Idius. So therefore, if you're going to tell me that the Baal Baininus collects first, then you have a problem with Rav Nachman saying Ratzim Mizeh Gova, Ratzim Mizeh Gova, because guys, you're telling me Rav Nachman B'Shaloi ain't Shaman. So guys, let's fair ice. Guys, fair ice. Look at me, fair ice. You have this guy has Baininus, this guy has Ziburius. The Baininus now collects the Ziburius. Good. So what does he have? Baininus and Ziburius. B'Shaloi ain't Shaman. What happens to his Baininus now that he has Ziburius? It gets elevated to Idius, correct? Now the Baal Ziburius, what's he going to collect? He's Ziburius. So why do you say Ratzim Mizegov, Ratzim Mizegov? I'm saying, in other words, in other words, I could say, even B'Shaloi and Shaman, I could say that, okay, says the Gemara. So therefore, Fred the Gemara Kasha, why do you say that the Baal Ziburius collects first? What happens if the Baal Baininus would collect first? And then he's going to take back what? His Ziburius. Says the Kodim Taveh, that the Baal Ziburius came first. In other words, usually you go after the one who's Taveya first. Look at Taisus, guys. Second Taisus in the bottom. Saif ki asi lemigvei bahade adadi kasi afagab din is zaken din is koken the Taveya tchila. Taisus akasha. I just want that, guys. I just want that one point. What do you see from Taisus? Whose court case is judged first? Whoever comes first. So in other words, the Kimta and the Machlokes will be where the Baal Ziburius came first. He was Taveya first. Says the more safe ki asa lemigvei. Goody came first on the docket, but when it comes to the actual collection, the Hade Adode. Let's finish Taisus, guys. But Heicha the Isle Pseida Ainis Kokin, where there's a loss, we're not going to go ahead and listen first. In other words, Dove is sitting there in the back. He's standing, not sitting in the back. He's standing, and he's looking at me, and I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, it doesn't seem fair that this Baal Ziburius is getting messed up. Did that put into your mind? I thought I read your mind. So, where will you say that you got to the docket first? So you go to the Baal Ziburius first, that if there's no loss. But if there's going to be a loss, and in this case, there's going to be a loss, because if he collects first, and B'Shaloi and Shaman, that ensures that what? He gets Baininus, and the other one gets Ziburius. We don't say it then. So in other words, we just slugged up the Ukimta. In other words, because of that reason, that in other words, since they're collecting at the same time, why are they collecting at the same time? Because b'makom pseida, we're not going to go ahead and jump the guy who came first over here. So l'chayra, so therefore, since they're collecting at the same time, the kasha, you don't have the mitzias of the case. The whole mitzias of the case is predicated upon Baal Ziburius collecting first and then having Baininus and Ziburius in his hand. If you don't have that mitzias, so basically we're stuck. What's the pshat and the machlokes between Rav Sheshes and Rav Nachman? That's what we're holding, guys. Good? Baruch Hashem. Okay, great. So says the Gemara Vaita. Ella, Lashon Charata, Leitzricha, the Islay Lechad, Idias Ubaininus. One guy has, guys, what does he have? He has Idias Ubaininus. The Islay Lechad Ziburius. The same case, except instead of having Baininus, not only Baininus, he has Idias Ubaininus, guys. Good? Now, so what happens? And the Baal Ziburius is going to go ahead and collect first. Masava Rav Nachman holds B'Shalohen Shaman. Masava B'Shalohen Shaman. Umasava Rav Sheshes holds B'Shal Kalal Shaman. So let's go through it again. So now let's go through it. You have this guy has Ziburius, right? And this guy has Baininus. He has Idias Baininus and Ziburius. Good. So let's say the Baal Baininus. Let's say the Baal Ziburius collects first. So what's he going to get? He's going to get Baininus, right? And B'Shalohen Shaman, what's he going to get? He's going to get Ziburius. He's going to get Ziburius. Let's go the other way around. If the Baal Baininus collects first, he's going to get Ziburius. And what's the other guy going to get? He's going to get Baininus, right? So that therefore, that's the pshat of Nachman. Ratzim Mizego. Says the Gemara. Tran v'chachamim ma'imim zegoiva kasha on Rav Sheshes. Guys, how can Rav Sheshes say it's a wash? A Mishnah said before Mishnah, the chachamim shita who argue in admin say it openly. What? Right to Mizegova. If two guys break out shtaris, we don't go say it's a wash, and it's speaking where they're both worth the same amount of money. So therefore, it has to be, or else there's nothing to talk about, right? So therefore, our Mishnah says that each one collects. So how can you tell me, Rav Sheshes, that what? It's a wash, that you call that the bags are switched. Says more Tigma Rav Nachman, I'll leave it to Rav Sheshes. Rav Nachman's very nice, right? taking of Shashna. The first time I saw this in the Elam Mitzias, where in the sugi of Yir Shlemi Dasa, Rava comes to help Abaya. Anyway, so taking of Nachman Aliba Rav Sheshes Kigoyin Shelava Ze Leesa V'Ze Lechamesh. They're two loans, but one is payable earlier than the other. Now, Hechidam, that's the case. Ilema Rishain Leesa V'Sheni Lechamesh. Let's say the first one's loan is for 10, and the second one is up in 5. It's not time for repayment, guys. I have a 10-year loan, right? I have another 5 years to pay you. So, if you need money now. So no. So what's the other way? 5 is first and 10, and the 5 is up earlier. So hechidami. If it came time for repayment, my time at the Rabbanan. It's time for repayment, so I'm going to take a loan out. Why am I taking a loan out? You owe me money. I'm not going to take another loan out. So my time at the admoin, and then therefore, what would the reason of admoin be? The day that what is mashlim chamesh. It's over. The mishlim chamesh that day, and the loiva needs the money. The malva, he needs the money, and he couldn't wait one day to get his money. He needed the money that day. So here's the Gemara. Masava, the Rabbanan hold, Obit inish to Yosef liyomei, a person will borrow money for one day. They'll borrow money for one day, and therefore they don't say Ilu Hayisi had I know, because sometimes you need cash. You need cash. Masava, Obit inish to Yosef liyomei, and Adman says no, you're not gonna borrow for one day, and therefore he claims that if I really owed you money, then why are you borrowing from me? And okay, and the loan is due tomorrow, like the previous teretz. It's the same thing. Rami Bar Chama Amahacha. He has another way to learn Pshat and Machlokes. Rami Bar Chama Amahacha Biyasmi Askina. We're dealing about your Simon. It's the same with Siyas, that you have, it's due tomorrow, but you have it's speaking about your Simon. The Yasvei Migva Goibi, the Simon they can collect. Agbuyile Magbina Minai, but we can't collect from them. Right? So therefore, the case of Ratzim Yizeh Goiva is not really Ratzim Yizeh Goiva, but Zer Royalik voice, Zer Aina Royalik voice. So the case you have your Simon, and the Yisayim they can collect from the one Balchayv, but the Balchayv, it's speaking the Yisayim have no karka, guys. Guys, the Yisayim have no karka, right? And you can't collect from. Okay, so now Agbula Magina Minayo. Read the Gemara 1 second. It doesn't say Zeg Goiva Zeg Goiva. It should be Zeg Goiva Zeg Royalik voice. The Ain Loy. So Robert does. So guy, that's the teretz. Ratzim Zeg Goiva. It's Zeg Goiva. It's the case. One of them is Yisayim moving died. Shimon. So it's two ways. Shimon can't collect from Ruvain, from Yisayim, and Yisayim collect from him. So Ratzim Yizeh Gava, Ratzim Yizeh Gava. Gemara, if you can't collect from Yisayim, it's not Ratzim Yizeh Gava. It's Yizeh Roy, like voice Zayin Roy like voice. Amarava Shtei Chuvas B'Dava. First of all, I don't like this teretz for two reasons. Chada, the Zeh Gava v'Zeh Gava Katani. We didn't say Zeh Gava v'Zeh Roy like voice. We said Zeh Gava v'Zeh Gava. V'Oid like Vinu Arli Asmei. What's the reason you can't collect from Yisayim? Because you can't collect from Tadlin. So go ahead, let the Yisayim collect the land. When you go collect, and once, guys, you can't collect from Yisayim from Tadlin, but once they get karka, you could. We had this earlier in the Gemara. Kid Rav Nachman, the Amar of Nachman, Amar Abba Ravua. Yisayim shegovu karka the chayvus aviyam. Yisayim that collects karka the chayv of their father. Bal chayv chayv goyim meisamihen. So what kind of eights is that? Guys, you're telling me what you can't collect. You know what you do? Let the Yisayim collect first the land, and then go collect it from them. Kasha, it's a kasha. So the Gemara says, I have a way out. I can answer on your marchama. But look me, the islahu liyasme ziborius. Let's say the Yisayim have ziborius. The isla the day idisu beinanis. The azla yasme gova beinanis. Umagvi le ziborius. The inami v'shal kaladim hein shamim ha'in efraim nechas misam elim ziborius. In other words, there's a very lumdish teretz, guys. Watch. Even like the Yisayim have ziborius. They have what? He has idius and beinanis. So he has all three. He has one, but he has idius and beinanis. So now they want to go ahead and they want to collect from the Yisayim, right? The Yisayim, they want to collect from the Yisayim. So it has this. Let the Yasim collect, but let the Yasim go ahead and collect what's Ziburius? What did he say? No, also Yasim. Okay, so no, you have this too. They have this. Let the Yasim collect the beinanis. Let the Yasim collect the beinanis, right? and they collect the Bainis. And when you'll collect, you'll go ahead and you'll collect Siburius. Even Michelle Oilam Shami, you should collect Bainis. By Yisayim, you only get Siburius. This is what Heshi mentioned. When you collect from Ein Ephraim, Nechusayim Elam Siburius. So you have a way out, guys. You have a way out over here. In other words, what was your teretz? What do we like about it? You're not going to get anything to the assignment. Says the Gemara. Why don't you use that sign that what they had a field. It says right, what they had a field. Says the Gemara. So it's a kasha. Why you went? It's a kasha. What was the kasha? So the kasha says the Gemara. I'll tell you why you couldn't collect the bainis from them is because you only collect from Ziburius, and this guy didn't have any Ziburius, right? So in other words, that's the case of going back and forth. You're going to collect Ziburius from them. You're going to collect. I mean, he's going to collect bainis from you, but you can only get Ziburius from him. Your son will get bainis, but you can only get Ziburius because you can't get bainis, right? So it says the Gemara, when can the assignment take from you? That's if you're not holding on to it. Once you're holding on to it, then you can't. When do we say in the frame assignment from Ziburius, that's where you weren't holding on to the land. But where you were holding on to the land, we don't say that. In other words, we keep it by you. So the Yosem cannot go ahead and take it away from you. They can't grab it. They can't grab it from you.
But if someone that his father's alive today, he gets bins. If tomorrow he dies,
They can only collect the voice, right?
Because you're looking for the best interest.
Yeah.
Of your son, that's what it is.
Oh, that's the end of an intense Gemara. Next Gemara, very famous Gemara at the end of Masechta, deals with the Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. This is the very famous Gemara. This is Satmar's favorite Gemara. No. This is the source from the Torah garden. Right? Okay. Anyway, Shalish Artzos L'Nesuin. There are 3 lands to Nesuin. Yehuda, the Eivei Yarden, the Golan. Yehuda is the southern part of Eretz Yisrael. Eivei Yarden we call Jordan. That would be on the eastern side of Eretz Yisrael, and the Golil would be the north. Now this is Le'inyan Nesuin. What does that mean, Le'inyan Nesuin? Rashi says, Gimel Artzos L'Nesuin, Shalish Artzos Hein Beretz Yisrael, Chalukos Le'inyan Nesua Isha. They're all divided up regarding Nesua Isha. Shemnasa Isha ba'achas mehen. If a woman goes ahead and gets married in one of them, any yachal kaifa leilach achrov mi eretz el eretz. You can't force her to go from one land to another land. In other words, let's say you're both from Yehuda, or you're both from Golul, or you're both from Eivei Yarden, then you can't force her. Good. What about if you're from Yehuda and she's from Eivei Yarden? Let's see Taisvis. Shalish Artzos Nesuin Tosefta b'medama mamurim. When's that Mishnah speaking? Bisman shehi mi Yehuda the Iris mi Yehuda. That he was from Yehuda. Hayav ben Yehuda. He was from Yehuda, and is Kalus from Yehuda. Hay ben Golol she Iris begolol. Av ben Yehuda she Iris begolol. Hay ben Golol she Iris beYehuda. And Kaif Neisa you would force her. Let's say Shalmanas came nasa. That's the whole reason he married her in the first place. You go live where you live.
You only go with the husband.
Where the husband is, right? Where the husband is. But again, so this Taisus is qualifying the Mishnah. That you say you can't force a woman when you're both from the same province. If you both from Yehuda or Eivei Yarden, then you can't force. But if you're from different ones, it's understood that you married Almanat Tabat, she comes with you.
Michael Cutler had that, right? Different from America, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know names. I don't know anything, and I don't want to know. And you might say in the ear. Now you have let's say three places, guys. A kfar is the boondocks. Kfar, you know that from the Seth Megillah, right? A krach is the largest city, the large cities, and an ear is more suburban. It's more suburban, okay? Right? So you're dealing with Brooklyn and Muncie. Yeah, well, no, Muncie might be not anymore.
The old Muncie.
Haverstraw. Anyway, so
He goes from city to city, you're saying?
does whatever he wants. He's the man. Okay. Anyway, so now you might see him ear to ear. You have a woman. You can't take her from one city to another city. You can't take her from one city. Let me krach l'krach. In the same ear, you could go from city to city. Mekrach l'krach on the base. Avaloi me'ir lekrach. You can't take it from a large city from a small city to a large city. Loi mekrach le'ir. Nor can you go mekrach le'ir. And the Gemara will explain the reason. What are you talking about? This is Eretz Yisrael. It's Eretz Yisrael. No, but look, no, I think even outside.
Bill was talking about something else.
Now, Maitzian minava hara lenava yafa. You can go from a lousy neighborhood to a good neighborhood. Nice tira, you can upgrade. Avaloi minava yafa lenava, you can't downgrade, right? You can't upgrade because the nafa yadik can check you out. Right? That's very fascinating. Look at Rashi. Sha'anava yafik baduk es haguf. It checks the body. L'misha ba minoy ra. Someone comes from a lousy neighborhood. In other words, the gashmius, the betterness of the neighborhood is not necessarily a good thing. Fascinating Gemara. Now, Bishleim and Mikrach Le'ir. Bishleim, you can't go from a large city to a middle city to the suburbs. The Bekrach Shchichi Kol Mili, Be'ir Le Shchichi Kol Mili. Pizza stores, check kissing places. We have many places over here that's available, right? People in Jackson miss Brooklyn. There's certain things here that, I don't know. Daf Yomi gets on the Zoom. I was saying that people in Jackson, listen, if Judas Pizza would be San Kashmak, God's Kashmak, I would think so. Yeah, the coin's being massive. I'm getting the coin's going like this. He's saying Judas Pizza was what? No. So I'm saying there's certain things that are very Kashmak about what about a krach. So therefore we can understand why you can't go from a krach to an ear. Okay. Ella may ear la krach my timer. Why can't you go from a small city to the crack? It's a metropolitan, New York. It's Geshmak. Messiah Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, minayin sheyeshivas krachim kasha. How do you live in the large city is not good? It's hard. Shnemar says vayivarchu am l'chol anoshim, and the people blessed all the men. Hamisnadvim l'sheves b'Yushalayim. Yerushalayim is a crack, guys, a large city, and those people who were misnadev to live in Yerushalayim, they got a bracha. So what do you see? To go from an ear to a crack is not. Why they give me a bracha if it's such a good thing? Look at this. Is a fascinating Rashi, guys. This is the Jackson Tom's River Rashi. Here it is, right over here. Third line down. Yeshivas krachim kasha. Shehakol misyashrim sham. Everyone lives there. The doichkim and the mamish on top of each other. The houses are next to each other, and if Rashi had traffic in his time, he would have thrown that into the Ein Sham Avir. There's no what ear. I will be ear in a city. You have gardens, pardesim, and orchards. Smuchim lebatim. You got big backyards. Vavirim yafim, and as a result, you have what? You have good ear. So there's a source for green acres. That's green acres. No, but it's Kishmak Rashi, It's amazing how everything's in the Gemara. Rashi explains it. Open Rashi. He's showing me his fireplace. Shalom Kagan is showing me his fireplace. Okay, Shalom. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so very, very geshmak. Now, what does Shmuel say? He said you can't even go from a good neighbor to a bad neighbor, right? He says because it may be boidik. What was meant us? My boidik says no. Shmuel was a doctor. Dama Shmuel. Shine vestis. If you change your routine, the chivas chole me'ayin is the beginning what of chole me'ayin. If you change your routine, it's the beginning of chole me'ayin. In other words, there's something to be said about people eating the same foods all the time. And you eat some very rich food, as we're going to see, Ken Zion, it's not such a good thing. So Dama Shmuel, Shini Vestikul Chalman, Kosav B'Sefer Ben Sira. Now we met Ben Sira, right? Just a reminder. Ben Sira was lived in the time of the Bayis Rishon. He wrote many, like Confucius. He wrote many proverbs. But I heard from Shuli Bornstein that the Sefer Chelkas Mechaykek says that he was the son of Yirmiyahu Hanavi. that Ben Sira was the son of Yirmiyah Navi. They found copies of Ben Sira in the Geniza in Cairo, the Cairo Geniza. They found copies of Ben Sira. So now, Kol Yemei. Now this pasuk is in Mishlei. So I know it's very interesting. They quote Ben Sira and then they begin to pass the Mishlei. Says Gemara. It's the pasuk says Kol Yemei Ani Rayim. All the days of an Ani Abed. Why? Because he's hungry. He's hungry, right? All the days are bad. He's hungry. Read Gemara ve'ikar Shabbosis v'yam tovim. You have Shabbos v'yam tovim where you eat good food. And for the Gemara, you know why it's bad? Kiddush Shmuel. Tama Shmuel shiniveset tchilas kol me'ayim. You're gonna go ahead. You're gonna eat the good. You're used to eating this, and then you're gonna eat festive food on Shabbos and on Yom Tov, the beginning of a kol me'ayim. So you see, so all the days are bad. Even Shabbos and Yom Tov is bad, guys. Even Shabbos and Yom Tov is bad, right? Okay, good. I'm glad we're recording. And there's so I said, yeah, yeah. Room can't soup will kill you. Ooh, you eat that? My wife makes it. Green kern soup. Ooh, it's green kernels imported from Germany, if you must know. So if you don't drive Volkswagen, don't eat it. Now, says the Gemara, Ben Sira, or my Ben Sira says, Af leilos, even the nights are bad for that. You know, it says, call you may, all the days are on him, even the nights are bad, says Ben Sira. Why? Bishval gagim gagoy, they live in small huts, uvemorim horim karmai, and their fields are on the mountains. Mimota gagim lagagoy, so since they live in low huts, all the water drips down on them. May offer kamel kramim, and since their fields are on top of the mountain, as soon as the wind comes, all the fertilizer and everything comes down. So even the lights are bad, nothing's bad for that. So nothing's good for them. Hakol Mailim Eretz Yisrael. Everyone, Mailim can be forced to go to Eretz Yisrael. Says Rashi, Hakol Mailim, as Kol B'nei Beisai, Adam Koifa Lalos Liyashay Vim of Yerushalayim. But not Yerushalayim. If you're in Chutz La'aretz, anyone in your house can force you to go to Eretz Yisrael. If you're in Chutz La'aretz, Hakol Mailim Eretz Yisrael. However, the Ein Hakol Moitziin, not everyone can take it out. Hakol Mailim Yerushalayim, and if you're in Eretz Yisrael and you're living in Ramat Beit Shemesh, you can be forced to move to Yerushalayim. That's what Rashi said. The Ein Hakol Moitziin, Echad Anoshim, this thing applies to men. Echad Anoshim, a woman. Nasa Isha Be'eretz Yisrael, person marries a woman in Eretz Yisrael. V'girsha Be'eretz Yisrael, and divorce her in Eretz Yisrael. Nois Lamaretz Eretz Yisrael, you're going to pay the ksuba with the Mois of Eretz Yisrael. Nasa Isha Be'eretz Yisrael, V'girsha B'kaputka. Now the kaputka, the word the money was worth more. So you got married in Eretz Yisrael, but divorced in kaputka. Now, what do you go after? You go after the shibud, which means the marriage, or do you go after b'shas kaviyah? You go after the place when you're collecting. Good. So nice and long and Mois Eretz Yisrael, you give Mois Yisrael. Obviously, what you're going after? You're going after shas shibud when you got married, right?
They moved and lived there. They just went there for the.
No, they got divorced in kaputka. They got divorced there. Nasa isha b'kaputka. You marry a woman in kaputka. V'girsha Be'eretz Yisrael. Nice and Mars Eretz Yisrael. So that's good steer, right? Because now you're telling me you go after shas givoy, not after shas shibud. You go after shas shibud. If you marry a woman in kaputka, even if you get divorced in Eretz Yisrael, you go ahead and you pay kaputka. V'girsha b'kaputka. Nice and Mars kaputka. So again, you're going to go ahead. Hashem says he goes after the shibud. In a case where you got married in kaputka, you're going to go ahead and pay kaputka. Get divorced. What? What's the chiddush? Which one? He disagrees. He disagrees with Tanakama. He says you go after shas shibud.
I thought that maybe he had something.
No, we're shooting. In other words, if you get married in kaputka and you divorce in Eretz Yisrael, the Tanakama says you go after Eretz Yisrael. He's saying you go after kaputka. It is more expensive, yeah. More expensive.
Maybe something will do shit to ours, but
Nasa isha kaputka, v'girsha kaputka. That seems to be obvious. Nasa marasu kaputka. Okay, now. Hakol ma'ilin lasuye mai. When it says everyone goes up there, you can force everyone to go up to Yisrael. Who can you force to go up there to Yisrael? Who could you force? Hakol ma'ilin lasuye mai lasuye avodim. It comes to go ahead and include avodim. In other words, you have an Eved Ivri. You can force your Eved Ivri to come move to Yisrael with you. Even though you don't have a kinyan aguf, only have kinyan peiris, you only have the workings of his hand, you can go ahead and force the issue. And we have someone, there's a brisa that learns openly avodim. So the hakol can't be coming to include that. It can't come to include that because again, it's listed openly. My lasuya, what does it come to include? Minava yafa linava hara. That you can force them to go from in chutzlar in a great neighborhood and you can go to Eretz Yisrael and live in a lousy neighborhood, you could force the issue. You could force the issue, but that's not called. What do you? Okay, now that's the hakol, either avodim or a bad neighbor to a new neighborhood bringing Eretz Yisrael. Now, what about veina kol moitziin? What is that? Lasuye mai, lasuye eved. This is an eved Kanani shebarach who ran away mechutz laaretz. He ran away from chutz laaretz to aretz. Damina leizavne hacha bezil. Like sell yourself over here and stay here. Mishum Yeshivas Eretz Yisrael. Guys, an eved Kanani is mechuyev in mitzvahs kiisha. Just like a woman has a man has a mitzvah yeshivas Eretz Yisrael, so does a woman, so does Eved Kanani. So if he runs away to Eretz Yisrael, he can stay here. So that's hakol asuyei ein might see him. We won't take him out. If he ran away to Eretz Yisrael, we're not going to take him out. So I guess it would be a sanctuary. If you have an owner, he runs away to Eretz Yisrael, he'd be free.
But when he goes, but the Eved goes free, he's going to send him back to. He wants to go back to. If he's an Eved from Kutzlars, right now, I forced him to move to Eretz Yisrael with me, and now we go.
That's an Eved Ivri. That's an Eved Ivri. This is an Eved Kanani. Yeah, it's Eved Kanani. Says the Gemara. Hakol Mailon Yerushalayim, the second clause of the Mishnah. Everyone's Mailon Yerushalayim, Asuye Mai, Lasui Minava Yafel Inavara. That even though you're going from in Ramat Beit Shemesh, you have a villa, and Yerushalayim you're going to get a shack, you still be forced to go to Yerushalayim. Ve'ena Kol Maitzian Lasui Mai, Lasuye the opposite. I feel Minava Inava Yafel. Even if you get upgraded by leaving Yerushalayim, you can't leave. The idea of Tani Reisha Ein Maitzian, and since they learned the Reisha Ein Maitzian, Tani Sefer Nami Ein Maitzian. Let's see Rashi. Why was it necessary to say this Chiddush? Says Rashi. Rashi has a kasha. The Ilu Mishum Minava Arol Inava Yafa, to tell me that you Ein Maitzian from a bad house to a good house, La Yitzrich. Why? Since we heard in the Reisha, the Mailin Minava Yafa Inava Ara, that you can force you to go from a good to a bad. Kol Shekain Ein Maitzian. Certainly they can't be Maitzian you from what? From a good to a bad. I feel him in a roli yafa, even from a bad to a good. So l'chayra, that's what we didn't have to hear it in the Sefer. We could have heard it from the Reisha, and nonetheless, what I got that then. Tarabana, who oimer lalais? V'hi oimer shalei lalais. He says, "What? I want to go up, Eretz Yisrael." And she says, I don't want to. Let's be forced to go up. The imlav, Teitze b'le ksuba. You hear this? She doesn't want to move to Eretz Yisrael. You can divorce her without a ksuba. Here, she wants to, and you don't want to. I don't know anyone like that. Right? My wife wants to go to Yisrael. If she wants to go, she can force the get and give the ksuba. Here, let's say they're in Eretz Yisrael. She wants to leave. She can force her not to. Again, whoever's in the wrong over here. If he's in the wrong, he likes this. He wants to leave Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Nasta Isha. We said he married an Isha in Kaputya. Says the Gemara. Okay, let's hold off on this for a second. Let's look at Taisus over here. The third Tais was down. The din of going up to Eretz Yisrael is not noig bisman hazeh. Drachim, because there's sakon on the ways. That's it. Now, so what about us? There's no sakana, right? Airline food. I said there's no sakana. The akshav eina mitzvah lo of Eretz Yisrael. It's not pshat. It's a sakana to go. There is no mitzvah to go. Ki yesh kama mitzvah hatluyas ba'aretz. There are many mitzvahs that are tali ba'aretz. The kama oinshim, and there are many punishments that we won't be able to be careful for lamed aleim. So therefore, since that you go there to Yisrael and the mitzvahs of tliya ba'aretz that you have to keep, there's no mitzvah. That's Taisus. I mean, be cool. I don't know. Truma hard to keep, and mice is hard to keep, and maybe Bechor might be hard to keep. I don't know. And that should be again anyway. So let's see. I sent out Maisha. I sent out Psak. I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. Okay. So you have it. You have it on there. Okay. This is a tshuva from Maisha. It's in Eben Ezra. The first chelik Kuf Beis. Igros Moshe Kuf Beis. The tshuva was about something else, but if Moshe along the way, if the guy wrote a few questions in it, so this is the last question he asked. The thing that you asked, in Yesh mitzvah achshav lo deberetz Yisrael, keharamban, like the Ramban held there was a mitzvah. Guys, the Shittas Ramban and Pashas Achnemos that mitzvahs that we do in Chutz La'aretz are only derech chinuch that we shouldn't forget. But kiyum mitzvahs is only b'proz d'shel melach. That's the Shittas Ramban and Pashas Achnemos. That's a Shita. In other words, the mitzvah you do in Eretz Yisrael is better than the mitzvah you do in Chutz La'aretz. Here you only get the chinuch, but you shouldn't forget. It doesn't mean you don't get a star. But this is the Ramban Shita. Ramban, we know Ramban b'Seif Yom. Please go up to Eretz Yisrael. It's amazing to know where he's buried. You know where everyone's buried. You know where the Ramban's buried. You know where he's buried. Anyway. Oi, Kaharav Chayim b'Toistus Kesuvos Daf Kuf Yud. The Eina mitzvah bisman hazeh. Right. So with that, in Yesh Achshav Eretz Canaan, like that. So is it like, in other words, the Ramban holds there's a mitzvah, and Rabbeinu Chaim that we just saw in Toistus holds there's no mitzvah. Correct. In other words, you have machloikas rishonim. Guys, I just showed you the Toistus. If you look at Ramban, you have machloikas Ramban and Toistus. Ramban says bisman hazeh there is a mitzvah, and Toistus says there's not. So Rav Moshe is coming to go ahead and be machriya, guys. Rav Moshe is coming to be machriya. Hine roiva poiskim savri to mitzvah. Most of the poiskim hold there's a mitzvah. Avol poshit she'ein zeh bisman hazeh mitzvah chiyuvis. In other words, you would get a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, but it's not mitzvah's chiyuvis to live in Eretz Yisrael. If you were there, you'd get a mitzvah. But in other words, but if you're not there, then it's not going to. You're not doing an avera. Shalaguf the imkain hoyamemela nimsa she'asaladam chutzlaretz. If it was a mitzvah chiyuvis, it'd be asa to live in chutzlaretz. Mishum she'ayver al asay, because you would be mivatal and asay. Kimo mishil yava yilbesh beged shel dalet knafais. A person wears a beged with four corners. Relate tzitzis. Sheyesh it's a little low, it's asa to wear it. Kadesh le'yaver asay the tzitzis. In order, you shouldn't be over the mitzvah tzitzis. In other words, there's an asay, there's a mitzvah, and then there's a mitzvah chiyuvis asay. In other words, you can't put on a beged, a four-cornered beged, and say, 1 second, so I don't want to do the mitzvah. No, you're being mevatel the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah chiyuvis. The mitzvah chiyuvis to put tzitzis on a four-cornered beged. Says that Rav Moshe, if you're telling me bisman hazeh that like Ramban, there'd be a mitzvah to live in Eretz Yisrael, we'd all have to go there. Just like you have to put tzitzis on, if it's a mitzvah chiyuvis, you'd have to go there. No, you can't be mevatel the asay. It's not a lot, but you can't be mevatel the asay. Just like you can't be mevatel the asay at tzitzis, you can't be mevatel the asay of Eretz Yisrael. So it's a mitzvah, but it's not mitzvah chiyuvis. It's not a mitzvah chiyuvis. So Moshe continues. Lehuska iser ela al hadar be'Eretz Yisrael. The iser is people who live in Eretz Yisrael. She'asa lotzes al manas lishkan b'chutz la'aretz. It's mentioned if you live in Eretz Yisrael to leave Eretz Yisrael. And where's it mentioned? Berambam perakei memalachim halacha tes. The gamkein havadei ein isa lav. Vadei it's not a lav. Then hoya iser gam lanshi chutz la'aretz. And if it was an isa also to people of chutz la'aretz, havlei leharambam loimer stam asa lishkan b'chutz la'aretz. Guys, in other words, when the Rambam mentions it's asa to go from Eretz Yisrael to Chutz La'aretz, if there was an Isra on us, it should be if it's a mitzvah to go to Eretz Yisrael, he just simply just said asa to live in Chutz La'aretz. And the Melab, Rav Moshe is being medayik from the lashon of the Rambam that there's no mitzvah for us to be in Eretz Yisrael, because if there was, he would just say asa lishkan b'chutz la'aretz, but he doesn't say that. He says for bnei Eretz Yisrael it's asa, but not for bnei Chutz La'aretz. So you see that from the diak of Rav Moshe, you see that there's no mitzvah of chiyuvis. Elkin chazik Eretz Yisrael Rav. It's only if it's very strong in Eretz Yisrael Rav you could leave. Mashma the rakli yoshvei Eretz Yisrael. I just made a deal, guys. Rakli yoshvei Eretz Yisrael yesh issa she'asu chachamim. Avol mitzad hasei ein chiyuvis el k'shedor sham mekayim mitzvah. So Moshe says beautifully, if you live in Eretz Yisrael you mekayim a mitzvah, but it's not mitzvah chiyuvis to go ahead and mekayim that mitzvah. If you wear a beged with four corners, there's a mitzvah to mekayim, the mitzvah of tzitzis. If you live in Chutz La'aretz, there's no mitzvah to go ahead and be Mekayim living in Eretz Yisrael. However, if you live in Eretz Yisrael, then so this is a very, very important tshuva. It gives you, if you ever feel any guilt, this gives you a little background.
But to go to Eretz Yisrael, leave, that's not so possible.
If you live there. Okay, let's finish up a little more. Says the Gemara Vaita. Nasa Isha. So we have a stira, right? You said you marry an Isha and in Kaputkia, and you get divorced in Eretz Yisrael, collect in Eretz Yisrael. Marry an Ish in Eretz Yisrael, get divorced in Kaputkia, collect in Eretz Yisrael. So which one is it? Says the Gemara, I don't understand. Hakufa Kasha. Ketani Nasa Isha Eretz Yisrael, the Gersha Kaputkia, meaning, right? Then Neislam Eretz Yisrael. Alma, Basa, Shibuda, Aslina. What do you see? You go after the place of the Shiva where you got married. Ema Seifa, Nasa Isha Kaputkia. If you marry a woman in Kaputkia, the Gersha Eretz Yisrael, and you get divorced in Eretz Yisrael, then what does it say? Then Naisa love in Eretz Yisrael. Alma, Basa, Gavaina, Aslina. So Marava says, Rabba Mikuli Kesuva Shonukan. Here we learn the Kesuva again. Eretz Yisrael is cheaper money, guys. It's cheaper money than Kaputkia. So we're going to be Mako on him because Kesuva Drabanan. Since Kesuva is Drabanan, we'll be Mako and always go for the smaller amount. So wherever the small amount is, if the small amount is B'shas the Shibud, we'll go after the Shibud. Small amount is B'shas the Gavaina, we'll go after the Gavaina, the collection. Shim Gamliel Oime, Noislam Mais Kaputkia. Ksava Kesuva the Raisa, he holds Kesuva the Raisa. Tanabanan. Amoitzi Shtar Choy Val Chaveroi. Kosev boy Bavel, if it's written in Bavel, Magmeo Mais Bavel. Kosev by Eretz Yisrael, Magmeo Mais Eretz Yisrael. Kosev by Stam, let's say it's written Stam, Haitzi Bavel, Magmeo Mais Bavel. Haitzi Eretz Yisrael, Magmeo Mais Eretz Yisrael. Kosev by Kesef Stam, let's say you wrote Kesef, but you didn't say which kind of Kesef. Now there are many types of guys, there are many types of silver coins. There's a dinar, there's a zuz, there is a Istar, what? Issa, that's Italian. Issa. There's an Issa. So now, which one is it? It says Masha Yirtza Loiva Magveya, whatever the Loiva wants. Now, this is a din of a Maitzim Mechavel Raya, right? You want to say that it's a dinarim, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's an Issa, right? In other words, a Maitzim Mechavel Raya. It says Kesef, Stam. So Kesef Stam is mashma, any silver coin. You have to prove if you want a higher denomination, you'd have to prove that. Good. Mashen came b'ksubas. Mashen came b'ksuba. Now, hey, what's the din of ksuba going on? Hey, Amrav Mishashia Aresh. It's going in the first case. Lafuke b'shuvim only odam ksuba deraisa. In other words, lafuke that the ksuba is the rabbanon, and therefore you would connect what? But kaput, it's going on the case of that Shimon Gamliel said that nice and nice kaputkia. He disagrees with that because you go after ksuba is stam. Kasaba kesef stam mash yirtza loiva magveyu. Whatever the Levi wants to give. Maybe he means Naska, maybe he means, guys, Naska Derbava, a famous Gemara in the Chesed Labatim, right? A Naska is a bar, some type of shavings. In other words, how do you know it means, once it says Kesef, how do you know it means coins? Maybe it means Brecklef. What is that drink that had gold in it?
Goldschlager.
Goldschlager?
Yeah, the gold flakes in.
Yeah. Not real gold. How much does it cost the bottle?
Expensive.
Nice. Whatever. I'm saying that, so maybe it's like silver pieces. Because it says matbeya. The less coin is the pruta, guys, right? Pruta. People don't make what? Prutas out of kesef, they make prutas out of nechoshes. It's like a penny. It's like a penny, right? So therefore, you don't have to worry about that. I'll stop over here.
I saw